Hello, my name is Rhiannon Gutierrez, and I'm a digital learning specialist on the digital learning team in OIIT. Today, I'll be showing you how to use the Chrome extension Read and Write for Google Chrome. This tool supports reading and writing. There's a strong connection between Google Drive, Google Docs, and a web page when using Read and Write. The materials you need for today are the Person of the Year article on Malala, and 2 Google Docs, an afternoon session vocabulary list, and a Highlights Malala Time article. The toolbar can be accessed by clicking on a purple puzzle piece on the far right side of the address bar. The Google Docs toolbar is located below the address bar. It drops down to reveal very similar icons, plus some more. First, I would like for you to click on the web page for the Time for Kids Person of the Year article on Malala. We're going to practice using hover speech and play, pause, and stop. Hover speech is this icon that you see right here. What this icon does is it allows you to play the piece of text that first appears on a website. You can direct it with your cursor, or you can just let it roam freely. I'm going to direct it. The text that is highlighted in blue is being read. The text in yellow is the part of the sentence that is being read. If I would like to stop it, I just press either pause or stop. I'm going to stop it. Now you notice that all these other icons are grayed out. That means we cannot use them while we are using hover speech. I'm going to turn them back on by clicking on hover speech again. So that is how you use hover speech. To use play, pause, and stop, you are to be precise. I'm going to highlight this specific passage and then click on the play icon. I'm going to highlight the first paragraph we see, and then push play. This particular feature allows you to be precise in choosing what you want to be read. It goes sentence by sentence. In some cases, text cannot be read out loud. This is due to the text being inaccessible. In this case, most of this text can be highlighted, so we can assume that it is fairly accessible. Let's say, for example, that it is not, or we just want to test to see how it may look. There's another feature that also reads for you what is on the screen. It is called the Screenshot Reader. It's a little box that is dotted with a cursor in it. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Now I am supposed to select by dragging and going over a piece of text that I want to be read out loud. Let's see what happens. The highlights go word by word. So far, it looks pretty accurate, but there will be some cases in which text may be skipped. This feature comes especially handy if you are to have an image that contains text in it. I'm going to stop this and bring us to another sample document briefly. It is the Malala highlighted web page. Now this is a picture. So I took a picture here, and now you can assume that this is inaccessible. We can use hover speech, play, pause, or stop for this image, but we can use the screenshot reader. Let's test it out. The accuracy here is pretty good. You notice it's reading over the same words, and because the print is clear, there is most likely greater accuracy. I'm going to stop it. So 3 features you might want to consider if you want to use a text-to-speech option are the hover speech, play, pause, and stop, and the screenshot reader. Let's say that learners would like to customize how their text sounds. I'm going to go back to the Person of the Year article that is on the web page, not the picture. If you look at the far right of the Read and Write toolbar, you'll see a little gear. This is the settings icon. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. Now you notice here, it gives me options for speed, voice, reading, translation. Some of it's not appearing right now, and this is likely due to me needing to refresh my browser. I'm going to go ahead and do that. A quick tip: if you ever see that features are not working, always refresh your browser. Let's go and refresh. Okay, there we go. One of the downsides to refreshing your browser, especially if you've highlighted text on a page, is that you can lose those highlights. Now this applies to web pages, not Google Docs, because Google Docs have automatic saving features. Okay, let's bring the toolbar back by clicking on the icon. The settings icon again. Now we can see that the content is fully present. So you notice here that I have the choice of the types of voices I want. Some people may prefer male or female voices or accents. This is a great feature. At the speed, slow, medium, or fast, and you can choose if you want the hover text to continue or not. I'm going to show you another feature that is called Simplify. It is represented by 4 little lines with a downward facing arrow. Let's go ahead and click on that to see what happens. You see here that it has opened a brand new tab that contains just text with plus and minus signs. Plus means more text and minus is less text. Let's see how it looks with less. Now, there can be pros and cons to this. Use this as you see fit. The reason I've chosen to go to this page is to show you how you can even customize Simplify as well. Let's move the toolbar down to see what else we see. Alright, so I move my toolbar to the left and I see something that says contrast on the far right side. You can actually choose, if you do not like black on white, to make it white on black. This is really good for those who may have vision challenges. I'm going to bring mine back. Okay. Now some learners may choose to highlight text on this page or just use it directly from the article. Okay. I choose to go back directly to the article, so let's go back to that tab. I'm going to demonstrate how you can highlight a word and have it defined. Let's try the word newsmaker. Now you just use your cursor to highlight that word newsmaker and then click on the icon that's third from the left. It's an open book. Okay, it's a dictionary icon. Let's see what it gives us. it says no match was found for this word. In some cases, some words are not in this dictionary, and this is a dictionary that is part of Read and Write. So let's say that I cannot find it in the dictionary. Another way that I can look up that word is by using a feature called Fact Finder. It is a globe with a magnifying glass. Let's see. Okay, it brings me to another tab that actually has the word listed and defined. Now it's using Google search to find this word. So in the case where you do not see a word defined in Read and Write's dictionary, this would be something to consider. Let's go back to the article. Okay. Let's try to see what happens if I highlight this word, again, newsmaker, and click on a picture. This is the picture dictionary. It is right next to the book icon. Sometimes it takes a while for it to process. Again, it does not have a picture. Let's try using or finding a word that may possibly be defined in Read and Write's dictionary. Let's try school. Now, school is fairly basic, so it's likely that this will be defined. Let's try dictionary. Wow, so we see several different definitions there. Now, this can be the case for some words where you see many or one. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. What's really nice about this is that students can click on it and hover speech is automatically activated, allowing their written definitions to be read out loud. I'm going to close this window and go back and highlight that word again. Let's find it, school. There we go. I'm going to click on the picture again, and we have an image there of school. Now, these are clipart icons that are part of Read and Write's archives. You might find that some images will be present and others will not be. Now you notice we have text in this passage and nothing is highlighted. Initially, you saw highlights. I'm going to show you how I got those. So, I'm going to assign meaning to my colors. There's 4 colors available: blue, pink, yellow, and green. I'm going to use blue for complex paragraphs. And I'm defining complex by the sides of the paragraph. So let's go ahead and highlight this particular paragraph and then click on the blue highlight icon. There we go. Now you have to highlight it first and then click on the icon. Let's try the smaller paragraph below it and use green for the simple paragraphs. Okay, I'm just going to highlight these 2 right now, but I'm just letting you know that I've differentiated between what the colors mean. I'm going to isolate single words that I would like to have defined by assigning meaning to the color yellow. So yellow is for vocabulary words. Let's see. I would like to highlight the words important, extraordinary, industry. Now it's very important to be precise when you highlight individual words. And this is for improved accuracy. Let's get financial as well. Okay. I would recommend reading through an entire article and selecting passages and selecting individual words. First, I'm going to look at these 2 passages and click on an icon that's called Collect Highlights. It's represented by the 4 colored arrows going in a circle. pop-up window appears that asks me to collect highlights, and I can sort them by color or precision. I'm going to choose color. And we can choose if we want to collect all 4 colors or only some. In this case, since I'm talking about passages, I prefer to highlight just the blue and the green. I check those off. And then I say OK. Once I've clicked OK, it gives me a list that looks like this. So the Highlights Malala Time article contain the original highlights that I made. So once you click OK, you will see the highlights created on a brand new Google Doc. Initially, it's titled Highlights Untitled, but I revised the title to make it easier to search for in my drive. Now you notice blue is first and green is second, as I mentioned. And below it is really cool. We have the hyperlink to the article, which is very important for citations, and the user, which is me, who has created these highlights. Now, you can modify this document as you wish. It's very important for understanding where they found the content and also for independent work in collaboration. Perhaps you don't want to see these highlights anymore. You could refresh the page for them to go away. But let's say you have maybe just one paragraph or one word that you decide, I just want to remove that. So let's go here and highlight the word extraordinary again, and then click on the little brush to sweep away the highlights. You notice only blue and green were in that highlights document, but not the yellow. Let's do something with the yellow. I'm going to go ahead and click on the vocabulary icon. It's right in between Collect Highlights and Simplify. It looks like a list with 3 lines. Once I click on that icon, it takes a few beats and then it generates a vocabulary list that looks like the afternoon session vocab list. Now these are different words that I highlighted from earlier, but you can see here the concept is the same. When it's first created, it's called Vocabulary List Untitled. I have retitled it again to make it easier to search for in Drive. It's important to make a connection between the article and the vocabulary list, so I've done that. Now this list has been edited by previous users, so it's a little bit more robust than what is initially given to you when you first export this vocabulary list. Every single vocabulary list comes with a title here that says vocabulary list, and then 4 columns with word, meaning, symbol, and notes. First you have the word that you have highlighted, the meaning, which is the definition. Again, there can be more than one. A symbol is a picture, and these are pictures that are coming from Read and Write's archives. The notes column is actually empty, but here it's been filled out. So let's say, for example, then once you're in this document, you notice there's no pictures. I'm going to scroll down and look at the word renamed. Now this one, if I remember correctly, and also if you look at the type of images there are, it doesn't really match what you see for the words months and important. Those have a very similar stylistic look, but renamed has a different look. So what happened here was that I did a search to get these images. Google Docs has a lot of really interesting features that support the flexibility that is already inherent in the Read and Write toolbar. So the toolbar for Read and Write, you notice, is up here, and I actually brought the tab up so that I can see other tabs here on Google Docs better. So let's check out the Tools tab. I'm going to click on that and click on Research. You'll see a column open on the right side of your browser. And there's a G here where you can look up everything, images, and whatnot. I'm going to select images and type the word renamed. Now these are the options it's giving me. It's okay if you feel that perhaps these images are not sufficient. You notice that the images that are present for renamed in vocabulary list are a little bit different than what we see here. That's okay. So once you've found the image you want, you just select it and drag it and you drop it in. And what happens once it's dropped in, you notice there's a very tiny little number below it. That's a footnote. So you do not have to worry about where the image came from. You simply scroll down to the bottom of your document and read your footnotes. You will see a URL that tells you the source of the image. We already know Read and Write has its own set, but for those that are created or brought in from the web, you can use this. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and delete that because I don't want that image, but it's good to know that the option is there. Okay. So that is how I've used a tool in Google Docs to support Read and Write. Now, some of these definitions are not always present. Not only a picture, but just a definition in general is not always present. If that's the case, you can play around with some features in Read and Write that we worked on earlier, such as Fact Finder and the dictionary and picture dictionary. I encourage you to play around with two very handy features. The first is prediction. Now this predicts words. You can go ahead and start typing, and it will give you a list of possible words. Sometimes it doesn't work right away, so you have to give it a little bit of time. Now you notice here all of these options are there. You can actually customize this word prediction list by going to your settings. It does not always have to be in English. It can be in other languages. Let's say you have a learner who does not necessarily like to type and needs to get their thoughts out. You can use a feature called Speech Input. Speech Input is really wonderful. And Read and Write uses the functionality of a tool called voice typing inside of Google Docs. Let's go ahead and click on Speech Input. A little microphone appears and automatically starts recording what it hears. Period. It is important to consider the context where you are using this feature. You don't want to use it in a noisy classroom. Having a microphone nearby is also very helpful. Period. I am using a microphone right now, in fact. Exclamation point. New paragraph. Isn't this cool? Question mark. Now you notice most of what I said was actually pretty accurate. But the last sentence, I said, isn't this cool? But I have, isn't this school? So this can happen sometimes. In that case, I would definitely work on revising that. Let's say that you or a student notices that there's an error in grammar. You can actually leave a note. So let's go ahead and highlight that. Now, most of the time we think about Google Docs having insert comment, and then you type out a comment. Well, what if I told you you can dictate a comment? So let's highlight this again and click on this little box with a play button that says voice note. Don't you mean, isn't this cool? So there it is right there. Let's play it. Don't you mean, isn't this cool? Now, leaving this particular audio comment is not a bad idea. However, consider the recipient. Consider having multiple representations. So I'm actually going to write below, don't you mean, isn't this cool? So then I have a text-based representation of what I just said. The last one that I would like to show you is called Translate. It's represented by two arrows pointing in the right direction. Let's go back to the Google Doc. Now, I'm going to go ahead and highlight the word crisis and click on the translator. So this is the translation that they have come up with. Now, the translation language can be adjusted underneath settings. And much like the dictionary you saw earlier, it can be read out loud. There we go. I would encourage you to not only use the translation feature here of the Read and Write toolbar, but to also consider using Google Docs translation capabilities. Let's go to the Tools in Google Docs and go to Translate Document. You can actually choose from multiple languages here. Now, this comes in handy for longer paragraphs. For short individual words, the translator feature comes in handy a little bit better. I also feel that the translate feature works better in an article. So the Time Person of the Year article looks a little bit different than how it might look in a Google Doc. So let's just go back to the article and Time and highlight the first passage and click on Translate. There we go. We have the English version, which is the original version, and the Spanish version. The accuracy of this can be fairly good. It's up to you to decide, but I think that this is also a really good starting point. I have demonstrated how to use all of the features of the Read and Write for Google Chrome toolbar on the web and in the Google Doc. Thank you for watching today's presentation. If you're interested in finding out more resources, please visit Read and Write in the Boston Public Schools. This website is for BPS staff and students to view any materials that they need to help with the setup, training, and troubleshooting of Read and Write. If you're interested in accessing today's materials, you may visit our YouTube channel or our training kit. Thank you